Hey everybody, welcome back to Whiteboard Finance. You guys know that I'm all about building wealth intelligently. We're not chasing meme coins on this channel. We're not gambling on sports. We're not gambling on short-term trades. We're setting up systems that are going to pay us while we sleep. So in 2025, we have all this volatility going on since Liberation Day, basically since April. We've seen it in stocks. We've seen it in crypto. We've seen it a little bit in real estate as well. So I've doubled down on one goal. I'm going to generate income no matter what the market is doing. So today I'm breaking down 4 real ways to earn passive income from investing. This is stuff that I personally use and I actually recommend. So there's no hype, no garbage, just real yield. Let's jump right into it. Okay, let's start with number 1. These are covered call ETFs. You either love these or hate these. So a lot of people, they use these as go-to tools for creating a consistent monthly income. So you have funds like JEPI or SPYI, which I'll show you here right now. But very quickly, just so you understand the numbers, if I scroll down here real quick off the fact sheet, you can see that the 30-day SEC yield is about 9.74%, okay? So let's say you have $100,000 invested in JEPI, and if you don't have $100,000, use 10. If you don't have 10, use 1,000. Just take off a 0. So basically, if you have 100 grand invested in here, you can generate roughly $750 to basically $1,000 per month, okay? That's like getting a dividend paycheck every 4 weeks. So how is that possible, you're probably asking? Well, JEPI is an income-focused ETF, and it focuses on tech stocks, and what that does is it sells call options to generate extra cash. So if you don't understand options contracts, basically the premium is what you're collecting for writing the contract. Think of it as you're the insurance company, you're the casino, you're the house. You're writing the contract. Super simple scenario. Say the stock is trading at $10, okay? And I'm giving someone the right, the contract, to buy it from me at a later date in the future for a certain value, say $13 a share, right? They're giving me money that's called the options premium in order to have that contract. But say, for example, before that expiration date, that stock shoots up to $30 a share, I'm still on the hook for selling that at $13 a share because that's what's in the contract. I collected the money up front, but I'm also unable to predict the future at what the stock price is going to be. If the stock price is $7 by that expiration date, nothing happens. I keep the cash. Either way, I keep the cash, but I have to give up my shares that were $10 a share for significantly less if they did go to 30, okay? If you're still following me, congratulations. That's how these funds make money. So that's how JEPI pays a high monthly yield, okay? So you're giving up some upside. So if we take a look at this fact sheet, you can see basically what they invest in. You know, you have different sectors. Most of it is going to be in IT. 47.2% of the portfolio is in IT. Same thing. Well, you can actually read the entire prospectus. This is the real prospectus. And I'm not sponsored by JP Morgan. I'm just showing you a real prospectus because no YouTuber does that, okay? They're just like, buy this ETF and don't worry about it. You actually have to read the prospectus, you guys. That's the whole point of investing. So as you'll see here, if you go to the risks section, you can see right here, there's past performance. Let me find the risks real quick. Right here. So you have covered call strategy risk. So when the fund sells call options, it receives cash, but it limits its opportunity to profit from an increase in the market because, again, they're capping the upside, right? They have the stock for $10. They're capping it at 13. If it shoots to 30, well, guess what? They're still capped at 13, right? Just smile and nod, okay? So anyway, SPYI is similar. So this is the S&P 500. These expense ratios are a little bit higher, and you have to realize a lot of these are not tax efficient. So if I had to summarize like the pros and cons very quickly, I would say high monthly cash flow. A lot of these are taxable events though. It is a hands-off strategy. So instead of owning, a bunch of shares of the NASDAQ 100 and writing, the covered calls yourself or selling the covered calls yourself, you're basically having them do it and you're paying them an expense ratio to do that. And it's also very easily tradable and liquid. It sells just like a stock. It's an ETF. The cons are, again, capped upside. Distributions are taxed as short-term gains most of the time. And a lot of them underperform the pure growth ETFs, especially in a long bull run. These are best utilized when the market is choppy. So again, use this as an income engine. Hopefully this enlightened you if you weren't familiar with covered call ETFs. Okay, number 2, let's talk about dividend ETFs. If the covered call ETFs are a little bit too exotic, let's flip to something that's very boring. Let's go to dividend ETFs, okay? So there's a bunch of different examples of these. The YouTuber classic has actually done pretty poorly over the last couple of years is SCHD, okay? So this basically just mimics the Dow Jones US Dividend 100 Index. You can see that right here. And again, just read the prospectus, you guys. I'm just telling you this. You have VYM, you have VIG, but basically we're talking names inside of these ETFs like your Pepsis, your Broadcoms, your Home Depots, your Texas Instruments, these big, boring, cash cows. So right now, for example, if you look at SHD, it yields around like 3 to 4%. Let's call it 3.5%. So if you have $100,000 invested, that's roughly $4,000 per year in dividend income. So the nice thing about something like this, and I'm just using SCHD as an example, you have to look at your own. I would look at, if you want growth, the dividend growth, you have VIG. If you want a high yield period with maybe not as much growth, you can look at VYM. But there's a bunch of them, you guys. Again, this is SCHD. So if I had to summarize dividend stocks very quickly, or dividend ETFs very quickly, you have reliable quarterly income for the most part. Sometimes it could be monthly. Sometimes it could be semi-annually. For the most part, it's every 3 months. There are dividends that grow with company profits, which is nice. These fees are going to be significantly lower. So instead of like the covered call ETFs that are going to be 35 basis points to maybe even 100 basis points, that's fancy finance speak for 0.35% to 1%. You're going to be at like 0.06%. And then also a lot of these dividends are going to be qualified. So it's at a lower tax rate. So instead of paying like a short-term capital gain tax, for example, or an unqualified dividend, for example, depending on your tax bracket, these qualified dividends are going to get you into a much lower tax rate, sometimes even 0%, depending on how much money you make for that year. The cons are obviously they're stocks. Okay, so you have market risk. Okay, your principals can still fluctuate. You're going to have lower yield than the cover called ETFs, of course, because you're not collecting options premium plus the growth plus the appreciation. And then you also have a lot of concentration in sectors, okay? These are not going to be your high-flying tech stocks. They're going to be industrials, financials, these cash cow kind of companies. So think of this as kind of like your core for your passive income strategy. They will grow over time, knock on wood. But I would just keep your dividend reinvestment program on and just reinvest those dividends over time. And it should compound up and to the right over time. Okay, so number 3, if you were bored with the covered called ETFs, if you're even more bored with dividend ETFs, you're going to be very bored with number 4. But for number 3, wanted to add a little bit of spice into this video. So let's talk about crypto staking platforms, baby. Okay, so this is a company called Coin Depot. I personally have money on here. Again, not your keys, not your cheese, okay? If you don't hold the keys to your crypto, you got to be careful, okay? You don't own it. But if you are going to lend out, let's say like a stable coin like USDC, for example, or even Bitcoin, you can do that on Coin Depot, okay? So let's talk about the crypto side of passive income. So a lot of you hold stable coins that I talk to via DM. Obviously, a lot of you hold Bitcoin because you've been watching this channel forever. And if you don't want them sitting idle, this is a decent way to unlock some either premium or, collect some cash, if you will. So trading 24/7 is exhausting. I'm not talking about doing that. It's stressful. It's time consuming, especially in a volatile market. It's definitely easy to get wrecked, okay? So instead of gambling on every move, I like to have part of my crypto portfolio earning passive yield through staking, okay? You can do that here. And you can stake whatever you want. These are not what I own, but I'm saying these are stakeable, okay? So basically, you're putting your crypto to work for you. And then right now, one of these platforms is obviously Coin Depot. So this is actually my account. You can see right here on Coin Depot under my email. I'm showing you this live because it's a real working platform that I use. Everything you see here is on a monthly account. So for example, you have USDT, you have Bitcoin. I usually stick with like a 3-month term. That's the sweet spot for stable coins at roughly 21% APY. Yes, you heard that correctly, 21%. And that what I like is the flexibility. So if I need the funds, you can withdraw it. You can borrow against your own coins. You can do whatever you want. It's pretty nice. So while Bitcoin is consolidating and the altcoin market is just kind of like chopping sideways, which I don't really participate much in these days, but this strategy lets me earn yield while I wait without risking trades or timing pumps. Again, not your keys, not your cheese. Try and just hold the Bitcoin if you can. So some of the pros of doing something like this are some of the highest yields available, up to 24%. You earn in both stable coins and in Bitcoin if you choose to. You can withdraw very quickly, anytime, flexibly, transparently. And also, it's good for parking idle crypto if you're just sitting on some coins from a while ago. So the cons, obviously, platform risk. You always have to do your due diligence, right? We've seen a lot of these platforms blow up in the past, but again, you need to be your own portfolio manager and do your own due diligence. It's not FDIC insured, and rates can change with market conditions. So if you've got USDT or USDC, like a stable coin, for example, just sitting on your wallet, consider staking it on a platform like CoinDepot to fight inflation and generate real yield during the bear market. So I want to make it very clear that the age-old mantra, again, of not your keys, not your Bitcoin, not your keys, not your cheese, it still applies here. Only stake what you're willing to lose. You can explore possibilities of other platforms. You have the, I don't know, the Binances, the Nexos, the U-Hodlers. There's a lot of these out there. But again, CoinDepot is the one that I'm using. Okay, number 4, this is by far the least sexy out there, but I also have a lot of cash sitting in these as well, and these are Treasury ETFs, baby. Let's look at one, for example, like SGov, okay? So you have SGov, you have BIL, you have USFR. Basically, you can earn around 5% yield on short-term U.S. government debt backed by Uncle Sam. You have the full faith of Uncle Sam and the U.S. military and the petrodollar. And over 100 military bases around the world for your freedom. So basically, right now, this is yielding, I want to say, I think about 4.1% at the time of this recording. It's got a very low expense ratio. But the nice thing about this is that this income from treasuries, it's going to be exempt from state and local taxes, okay? So unlike a savings account or a high-yield savings account or a corporate bond fund, if you live in a high-tax state like California or New York, for example, this is an automatic boost to your after-tax yield. So a lot of you, when you look at like a Capital One 360 or, you know, wherever you park your cash in your HYSA, let's just pretend you're yielding, I don't know, 3.5%, 4% at the time of this recording. You have to realize you're going to get a 1099-INT at the end of the year. You're going to have to pay interest on that interest, or you have to pay taxes on that interest, excuse me. So with this, it's going to be roughly 0.5 to 1% more in your pocket, you know, if you're coming from a state like California or New York. So I like to park my dry powder here. Again, I have a, how do I call it? It's not just the safety fund or an emergency fund. I call it my war chest because I'm playing offense and defense. So the defense is going to be basically 6 to 12 months of my expenses in there because I am a business owner. My income is all over the place. Thank God my wife has a steady income. But I also like to have money in excess of that 6 to 12 months because I use it for opportunities, okay? So that could be stocks, real estate, you know, Bitcoin, whatever. So there you have it. 4 real passive income streams, okay? Not some start 17 blogs and an Etsy shop and a, you know, okay, that's a lot of work. This is actual passive income, okay? There's no tenants, there's no, you know, calls at, you know, midnight, oh, my toilet's leaking, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. So again, covered call ETFs, you get paid to wait in the stock market. Dividend ETFs own cash flowing companies. Treasury ETFs, you have risk-free yield with tax perks, and then you have crypto staking through CoinDepot. Again, earn while you wait. So whatever flavor or whatever risk profile you want to take on, I think these are 4 very moderate. How do I say moderate? That's not moderate. That makes no sense. And moderate is a bad word. You got to be left to right, baby, all the way. The loud 15% on each end. No, this is a very reasonable 4 tiers that you can invest your money into to earn passive income. So again, don't just let your assets sit idle. Put them to work, stay diversified, build multiple income streams. That's how you're going to maintain your PP. You're going to have a nice, strong PP, purchasing power. All right. Thank you so much. Have a prosperous day. Peace. Oh, yeah. BlackRock? Yeah, I just talked about SGov. Oh, JP Morgan? Oh, you got JP Morgan on the line? What is this, a 3-way call? What is this, the 90s? We're on a 3-way call? JP? Hey, Jamie. What's going on, Jamie? How you doing? Yeah, I just integrated SGov for BlackRock. My buddy Larry over there. Yeah. And I also talked about JEPI. I showed him the prospectus. There's no risk. Peasants.